Hey guys, welcome to episode 9 of Babble. We are back today with a really interesting episode on content creation, and it is targeted at people who are starting out on their content creation journey and who want to know a little bit about what it was like for us and some tips and tricks that we've learned along the way. The first segment we want to talk about is understanding your why. Arguably, it's one of the most important segments in my opinion. Do you have anything to add?
Are you forgetting another special segment?
Fuck. That's kill me, honestly.
You did really good.
Okay, well, we're actually going to start with good things that are always happening to us.
Mm-hmm.
Meg, would you like to take it away?
Want me to go first?
Yeah.
I wanted to shout out Thomas, who well, this week's been particularly hard. I've just been a little bit down in the dumps. It's been particularly amazing this week because he's ultra tired. He flew back in from the States on Wednesday. It's Sunday now. He's super jet lagged, and this man needs to sleep. And it'll be like 11 p.m. and I'll be like, I need help, and he's just helping me, and he's doing his best. So I'm very grateful for him.
That's nice.
Okay, tell me yours.
Mine was going to be Patty, because he always helps me. He helped me work out how to buy my camera, like which specs to buy. Anytime I needed advice about anything tech related, he would message me back like within 5 minutes. And like, it wouldn't just be like a blunt reply, it would be like a full detailed explanation. He would show me videos of things that I didn't ask for just to make sure I knew what I was doing. Anytime I wanted to buy a lens, anything, he was like very, very helpful and very, very kind. And so
Good egg.
yeah, and he is a really nice person. So that's my good things always happening to me. Now, we're gonna get into
that's the
segment
business.
1, knowing your why. Arguably one of the most important aspects of content creation, especially in establishing your journey. What do you have anything to say about this?
Knowing your why. And what was the second part to that? Sorry.
That it was important.
Why it's important when in establishing becoming a content creator.
Yeah.
Well, I maybe it's obvious, maybe it's not. But if you're not sticking to your why, it's not something. The tippy tappies are the Right. If you guys happen to hear any taps in the background, especially if you're listening to just audio, that's probably either Jerry or Buddy tapping around. But yeah, so I don't know if this is obvious or if it's not obvious, but if you're not sticking to at least mostly grounded in your why, it's not sustainable.
It's not sustainable and it's very clearly not authentic. Like sometimes you'll see some content creators post content, like for instance, not to know many brand names, but some MLM content creators we know of, and you can clearly tell that they're in it for the like financial incentive. And they're selling you products, but all they're talking about is the lifestyle and the money and stuff. And it's like you can tell they don't actually care about what they're doing. All they care about is the income they're making from it.
It's funny that you say that because I see content creation in two lights. One, and I dare say we're in the same light, which is that we do it to spread a certain message or just be true to ourselves. But I also see the latter being people who just like magazine advertising or billboard advertising. It's not really, it's to sell something, and that is okay too. And you can't really deny that a lot of people are in content creation just to sell a thing or sell themselves through programs or whatever it is. And I think that's fine. But why I create content wouldn't necessarily just be to sell things, because I think I wouldn't last very long. I wouldn't have lasted as long as I have to this point if I was just purely trying to sell things.
I think you have to think about it from a like consumer perspective, because when you're following accounts and like you have like comfort creators, which are people you just tune into because you really enjoy their comfort, you don't want to be sold stuff all the time. Like sometimes you just want to watch someone's day in the life or what they're eating, and sometimes the like relentless pushing of sales and stuff really takes, like, you become a walking billboard. Like you're not really your own brand anymore. And I think that when you're establishing what kind of account you want to be, you have to know if you want to be that kind of lifestyle creator who people like love following along for the journey, or if you're just in it purely to like monetize your platform without having like a timeless kind of longevity to it. Like the creators that people watch 10 years later aren't usually the ones that are just there pushing sales.
Yes.
What is your why for content creation?
Uh, my why is that it helps me spread my message because a lot my foot in the door was working with brands bigger than I am as an individual. And then if that brand associates with me, then I'm put in front of more eyes. And when more eyes are on me, I can tell more people about why I train. So no, we're not talking about coaching, but my whole message or why I have a platform is to spread my love for training. And it just so happens that they 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 mesh well together, activewear and supplements, and training. So it works out really well, and I'm very lucky in that regard. I don't think I've ever been suited to do lifestyle content because it doesn't really support my mission to just get as many women as possible training.
Was that always your why when you started, or do you think it's changed over time?
When I started, I just wanted to post my training. I never thought this is going to turn into a career. I never thought this is going to turn into something that gets me paid ever. I was just so obsessed with sharing my training and I was doing it relentlessly every single day for a long, 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 long time before it became anything.
Yeah, cool.
So that the why was just like, it was like a diary.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people do tackle social media in a bit of a diary fashion.
Yeah. And before it was $1 billion industry, people were less scared to treat it like a diary. Now there's so much apprehension around posting because like what if it's not good enough or what if somebody judges me for it? Because nowadays a lot of people associate being an influencer or content creation with being paid. But you can still use social media as a way to just express yourself. It might get you paid, it might not, but
Yeah.
it's just lost a lot of that meaning because there's so much money in it today compared to about like 10 years ago.
Yeah, someone that I really love is Katrina McKenna because she has always said she would never endorse any products and her account would always solely be her. Like she never accepted any brand sponsorships, even though her like husband's literally a Gymshark athlete. She really maintained that she wanted to stick to her own lane and just have her message be clear as day and not have any income like from sponsors and stuff. And obviously I and you and I both do that, but sometimes when I think about her and her account, I think it's really cool that, she's got millions of followers and she would probably be turning down so many massive brand deals because her why is deeply rooted in like that kind of identity.
Mhm.
Mind you, she does sell coaching, but yeah.
Or she's selling her own products and her own brand.
Yeah, I more mean like not associating with companies like activewear companies, supplement companies, just like really sticking to like herself as a brand, which is cool. When I started content creation, my why was more around my eating disorder recovery. And I posted a lot of content about like how recovery affected me. I think when I started, I still was recovering as well. So it was quite with through the lens of like wanting to inspire other people to recover. And I think now that I'm in a place where my eating disorder feels like honestly a distant memory, like a fever dream. Like it's so hard to put myself in my old shoes and remember what it was like for me. I feel like my why has almost changed a little bit. And I definitely do preach a lot about mental health and body image, but I think at the moment my why is probably like wanting to empower women as well and teach them that they can be strong and it doesn't really take away from their femininity and that there's so much independence, I guess, in being strong and powerful. But yeah, I definitely think about that a lot because when I did start my platform, I really, really posted a lot about my eating disorder, but it doesn't feel true to me anymore because I'm so far recovered. And I also am very like, I overanalyze the stuff I say because I don't want to trigger people who have eating disorders currently. So I definitely like lost a little bit of touch with that side of my why. So now we're going to kind of delve more into having a personal brand identity and why it's important as a creator. I think that it is so important to establish yourself and your unique self online if this is your goal because there's so many content creators nowadays and being unique and having a unique way of sharing content or a unique story is so important in your growth as a content creator and also standing out online. What do you think?
Yep, I agree. I think that whichever way you choose to share your identity, because everybody expresses themselves in a different way, right? Like, I think for you, I noticed that you're quite vocal and really, really um, transparent and honest on TikTok. Like when I hear your the videos where you do a voiceover,
Yeah.
and then you also lean heavily into like informative videos. And then like I don't think I would say I do the exact same thing, but in whichever way that you do choose to do it, it's so important because it's going to bring the right people to you, the people who will want to stick around and hear what you have to say. And um if you ever leave that, I can't think of the word. If you're ever not honoring that focal point, then maybe the wrong people will come to you. And after a while, they're not going to be interested in what you have to say because you can't really stick to being inauthentic for a very long time. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think as well but like you said before that some creators, like everyone's unique and different, and I agree, like we all have something unique to offer. But one thing you see online is everyone copying each other, and you might not see it as much as me because I've actually seen your feed before and it's quite different to mine. But I can think of certain activewear brands where all the influencers are a carbon copy of each other. Like they post the exact same like reels, stories, post everything, and they kind of lose that authenticity and that like originality because they're all just doing the exact same thing. And I think long term the problem with that is that maybe it's working now, but in 5 years, like who are you? And like if you're just, you know what I mean, copying the trends as an influencer, it's so important to think about how you can differentiate yourself from the crowd. And I can think of a few accounts off the top of my head that do a really good job at like producing content in their own style and their own voice, and it's really really cool to see that there are so many more popping up nowadays too.
Yeah, I find that refreshing. It's a little scary to think that you can't really dictate it or know what's going to happen as each year goes by as well.
What do you mean?
Like, I mean, trends exist because Instagram decides that trends are a thing, you know? And what if like we didn't even have stories, you know, at one point. Like we don't there are some unpredictable variables that you just have to adapt to the minute they get released. Um but like you said, how do you even know what your personal branding is if you only dictate your content by what is trending or what you think
Yeah.
will go viral or whatever has virality to it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's so interesting. I think everything definitely trends. Like they have the whole body type thing trending as well. And it's so interesting to kind of sit back and realize how many things go in and out of fashion and how important it is to really stick to who you are.
I don't know how you see it. So I'd be curious to know what your opinion is. But when I think about, or whenever I get stuck on posting, because there is, especially on the weeks when, during my luteal phase, like when I'm just like really struggling and I genuinely don't feel like posting, but I feel a little bit of pressure to do it.
Yeah.
And when I have moments like that, I try and remind myself that, and this is just me, so I want to know what you think. I'm not in it to be a I'm not in it to be an influencer. I'm just running a small business who happens to have like a slightly bigger account. And so I don't need to say conform to trends or making sure I post a certain amount of times per week because that doesn't matter to me. I'm speaking to a much smaller condensed amount of people because I'm just trying to run a small business and impact the women that I work with directly. Um, but some people, I think, see it in a different way.
I think that it depends because for some small businesses who need to grow their account, they might stick to a posting schedule because they can
I'm asking like your like for what you do.
oh I guess I definitely like let my emotions dictate what I do a little bit too much because as much as I do want my account to reach more women and grow, I definitely like if I'm having a bad day, I'm not gonna post. Like sometimes my body image affects it a lot. So I'm probably in a similar boat. Like I want to keep it as real as possible. And I really try and not post for the sake of posting because I think that people can see through it. Like when it's just like a random a filler post kind of thing, and that's not really like I don't need to have a pretty feed with filler posts. So I feel like nowadays I definitely have less pressure than I did when I first started because I realized that it is a long-term thing and there's no point trying to rush your way to the top or get ahead. So like a small business who wants to grow their Instagram account, they would know that they might need to hire someone to help them or they might need to follow up like posting. Honestly, just ask ChatGPT. It's got the best advice ever. But like you should, if you're trying to grow and that's your goal, yes, you need to post frequently and maximize on the algorithm. But not everyone's trying to grow. Some
Mhm.
people are content, some people are just trying to engage the audience they currently have.
Mhm.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I just think that everyone is in a different place of business. What about pitfalls? I want to talk about things that you might want to avoid doing as a content creator. One of my biggest things I think you should not do
It's like
is
a pet peeve.
no. This is like advice for the people. Like, do not work with every single brand that reaches out to you because if you, like I mentioned earlier in this episode, if you become a walking billboard, people are going to tune out of what your actual message is because no one likes being sold things all the time. And if your account is just like, do this supplement, or like I can think of a certain brand I'm not going to name who all of their influencers, their personality becomes the supplement brand.
I know what you're talking.
Yeah, they post it every day and like every single story. And it's like, oh my God, like they better be paying you a full-time salary because you are a walking billboard for this company and it tarnishes your brand. And if that brand ever drops you, you're just the girl who posted this supplement every day. And I think about that all the time. And I also know that brand, well, from my personal experience consulting with that brand, I don't think they compensate their athletes that well either.
What's your opinion then on someone who's like handsomely compensated? Let's take like Serena Williams for Nike, or
Oh, I don't even follow Serena Williams.
but you know what I mean? Like, or
I still think your personal brand is so important, and I think that you have to work out what your priority is. If money is your priority and you're happy to post every day just for a financial thing, that's your thing. But if having a personal brand is important, do not become walking advertisement.
so again to like the famous person analogy, like say LeBron James wearing what does he wear? Does he wear Nike too? Okay. And he's rocking it morning, day and night. Any press photo or paparazzi, he's wearing Nike. But he established his career and he's been in it for decades. And now when he wears it, he's selling it. No one thinks it's tacky.
No, absolutely not, because he's got such a strong personal brand.
Yeah, so I guess I'm asking you, is this piece of advice because you're talking to people who you think haven't actually established their personal brand before selling something through their teeth?
Yeah, this is what the episode was about, was for beginners.
I'm asking because I want a clarification.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I forgot what else you were saying about that. Do you have any pitfalls?
No, I have a pet peeve,
Yeah.
which like I'm a hypocrite because sometimes I mess up too, but I don't like incorrect spelling and grammar.
Oh,
I
yeah.
hate it.
So much.
I don't really care about in stories, but I really don't like it when it comes to like maybe important stuff that's kind of like got a digital footprint, like
Yeah.
a bio or a description of something. I don't like that. Pitfalls, or maybe for somebody who's getting into it, I guess perhaps, and this is a lot easier said than done.
Wait. I want to tag on to the other one about
Oh, okay.
I feel so bad because sometimes I'll see creators misspell the same words over and over again. And I'm like, do you not have any close friends that are going to tell you, like, hey, girl, you've spelt this wrong? Because I know for a fact the second I do anything that is grammatically incorrect online, you and Thomas are both like, haha, loser, you. You spelt this wrong. Like, how do these people, like, day by day spell everything wrong and not have anyone in their
Not have a Meg.
or just, I feel like any of my close friends would be like, girl, what the hell? Like, get a dictionary.
Get him a Mark will do it to me a lot.
No, but honestly, like, do these people who constantly do it not have friends and family that, like, are like, hey, like, this is your whole career and you're spelling things wrong?
Are we being haters? Should we just let them do their thing? I don't know.
I always check Declan's stuff, especially his.
Yeah, it's not hateful. I'm just more
It's
like
professional.
fix it immediately. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Um,
So if you're a content creator and you're a beginner, spell correctly.
Okay, so my thing, which was less of a pet peeve and more just general advice, which is easier said than done, is just to not be scared. Just post the damn thing.
Yeah.
Please, for the love of God, don't let the idea of maybe somebody judging you or sending it to someone else and judging you be the thing that stops you. Let anything else stop you before that, because that is ludicrous if that's the thing that holds you back from it. From expressing yourself, crazy.
Yeah.
Cannot fathom that. Just do it.
I can understand because I used to be
I
like,
understand it too. It just sucks.
oh, I think you just, the more you do it, you realize literally no one cares. No one's watching it. Everyone's like tapping through your stories. Not everyone, but like,
Ken's tapping through my stories. He muted them at one point. Am my stories still muted?
no, they're not. He did mute them. But yeah, like if you're spending time overthinking that kind of stuff, Yeah, I used to do that. I used to send all my stories to
Please
Meg
do not be scared.
and be like, "1 or 2, what do you think I should post?" And she'd be like, "On your story? Why are you asking me?"
Yeah.
Which is true. Like, I can't believe I used to do that. That's so embarrassing.
It's fine.
Not embarrassing. It's not
It's like a
embarrassing.
rite of passage.
I was so young when I started content too. Like, I was a baby. So I'm allowed to have been a bit more insecure back then.
It's unfair to just tell you guys don't be scared, but maybe it's just something to start thinking about when you hold yourself back from posting things. Like, why am I scared? What have I got to lose?
Yeah,
Mm.
you've got all to gain and nothing to lose. And if you do lose people in your life, then they weren't really in there for the long run.
Yeah, or just fuck them right off.
You know what? So interesting. I used to always get like insecure to tell people that content creation was a part of my job. Like I would always downplay it. Like I hated saying the word influencer. I never wanted to like tell people and I was almost like ashamed of it for some reason. I don't know why.
Hmm. We should talk about that another time too.
Okay, so we're going to share a little bit about how we actually shoot content week to week for different brands and just for ourselves, and provide a little bit of insight into how you can grow your account if you are a beginner content creator. So, I think what we do is we try and meet up once or twice a week, sometimes once a fortnight if we're being lazy, and we batch shoot our content. So, we might have deliverables for different brands as well as content we want just for our own personal branding. And we'll meet up and we'll spend a few hours just going to different locations, taking photos, and yeah. Do you have anything to add in on that?
Mhm. So before I met Dana, I I was working a corporate 9 to 5 role. So the only time that I had to shoot content was before work. So I would do it between like 6:30 and 8 a.m. and just made it happen. So that's just for those of you who maybe don't have a free day even in a fortnight to do it. Weekends are always an option. I definitely did on the weekend too. And just piggybacking off of the batch content style that Dana is describing, when I used to work for an influencer, I remember her doing which is very similar to my approach now, doing the batch content style once a fortnight, once a month, even sometimes. And the rest of it was really ad hoc. And that is my favorite. And sometimes I wonder if it just seems kind of random. I'll take a photo and post it, and the caption that I'll add to it, it'll just be what I'm thinking in the moment. That's my favorite style because again, it's like my diary. And I think it reads really well, or I hope it does, because I'm usually thinking exactly what I'm thinking. Um, and so I do a mixture of those two things.
Okay, well, I think for like advice for like future content creators, I guess it's important to know what you want to do. Like if you want more of a diary entry kind of account or what your like plans ahead are, and work out if batch shooting content is going to suit you best. If you can do ad hoc content, like for people who are working a corporate job, they might not be able to do ad hoc content as often. I know when I was at university and I was studying and working all the time, there is no way like my life was just not that interesting. Like I would go to uni. I mean, you can make anything interesting really, but I didn't have the lifestyle to do ad hoc content back in the day. So I think it's really important to work out what time you can allocate. And then for batch shooting content, we might we do talk a lot and just drink coffee when we do content. If we wanted to be time efficient, we could probably get like 4 outfits done in a couple hours if we really tried.
Mm-hmm.
And as well, we're fitness creators, so we film our training and we upload our training most weeks, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
on our stories.
Most days.
Most days, yeah, on our stories. And so because that's our niche, it is a lot easier for us to kind of post that stuff seamlessly. And I think it's important when you're choosing a niche and you're working out who you are as a content creator to do something that will be easy like that. Because I can't imagine like trying to be a fashion creator, but I rarely buy nice clothes that are like fashionable. Like I live in activewear. Like make sure that it is kind of true to you.
Maybe perhaps if you're the industry you're trying to crack into is something we don't necessarily do, like recipes or corporate stuff or
Yeah.
what else? Homemaking, those kind of things. I can imagine it would be useful to invest in good lighting, especially when you're starting out and you might not have a budget to work with where you can invest in like um, anything beyond an iPhone or a phone or camera. Lighting would be good, a good space where you can always like create some kind of consistency or fluidity where like you're always in the same kitchen and always kind of looks the same. I guess I could think of that. trying to brainstorm for something that's outside of fitness.
Quality is really important too. Like, I think the algorithm literally does prefer high quality content, but if your like content isn't that high of quality or not that valuable, people probably aren't gonna interact with it that much and it won't really perform as well.
It's funny though because some of like the most viral or entertaining videos could just be a really, really shitty video.
No, but in value, it's not just education, it's like entertainment is valuable. So it's valuable in a different way. Like just because something, does that make sense? Like there are different types of content value, and one of them's entertainment, one of them's like education, all different things. So yeah, posts like that do crazy well because everyone loves to watch it over and over again. Um, in terms of growing your account, sometimes it is a really good idea to have a look at your like performance metrics and see what people are engaging with the most. I feel like maybe this feels out of touch for you because you're not in a place where you're trying to actively grow your account. You're kind of just happy and content at the moment. Am I right?
Sure.
Yeah. So like for an explanation, I do a little bit of social media marketing on the side, and this is a lot of what I'm doing at the moment for other brands. But we look at different analytics like shares, comments, saves, and likes, and we kind of analyze what a person's audience is like responding to the most. And generally, when you're trying to grow an account, shares and saves are really important because it's showing you what content people value the most. And so, if you're trying to grow your account and produce content that people like, have a look at what people are saving and sharing that you've posted and try and replicate it and do more of that stuff if growing is at the forefront of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any 2 cents?
No.
No. How did you grow your account?
Posting religiously every single day and talking to camera nonstop.
And what about like, I remember when you hit 100K, it was from literally one reel. Like, do you remember it happened like,
Yeah, but that reel was a nothing reel, and it had nothing to do with what I did or my idea. It was just dumb luck, which is how a lot of people get their foot through the door. Like think of like someone who posts every day on TikTok and then one video kind of goes off and then they kind of get their foot through the door. That wasn't planned or anything like that.
it wasn't planned, but it got a lot of like view and traction. And then yeah, I feel like over like almost overnight your account blew up. Like not blew up, but like went from like there to over 100K.
My big break would more be that period between COVID to 2022 when I started being about a bit more outspoken about my journey and about training, especially as like an Asian woman who previously had very different beauty ideals, just becoming more outspoken about that. My story got picked up a lot by outlets, both in Asian communities and Western communities. That was my big break, not that video.
Yeah. Oh no, of course. Yeah. I more meant in terms of like your account, but that is so true. Like that is makes you so unique. I always forget that you are such like a little unicorn in the industry, and I forget that I guess weightlifting and stuff is probably becoming more and more popular in Asian culture as the years progress. But
Bodybuilding is huge over there.
yeah, but it mustn't have been back then.
No, it always has.
Really?
Yeah, in China and Japan at least, well, speaking for like my background. Yeah, so just that was me having all the time in the world during COVID to post every day and talk to stories like I was talking to a person.
Yeah.
That really propelled me forward. I don't think I do that as much nowadays, but I can say something, which is that since then or now, even though my content might look different, I've always tried as hard as I can to just talk about what I believe in. My beliefs have changed, and that's probably why it looks like I'm different now, but I've definitely always sung to the clouds about what I believed in. It's just back then it was, yeah, different.
No, that's so true. If you had to give like a beginner content creator 3 tips, like just like one sentence tips, what would it be?
Don't be afraid. Post a lot, especially when you're starting. And I guess understand your why. Things we've already talked about, just kind of organically in this episode.
I think as well, like be true to you and don't be afraid to be unique. Like don't just follow the herd because it's doing well for other people at the moment. Like everybody has the power to have their own unique story out there, and you're just dulling it by trying to copy everyone else. Yeah. I feel like that's all I had to say about this topic.
Cool. Do we have any more?
Oh,
Nice.
well,
perhaps if you guys enjoy this, we can talk more about social media, but maybe we'll talk like coaching side and how, if you want to get into coaching, how you could use social media to
Yeah,
assist or support your coaching business.
yeah, absolutely. That'll be a really interesting episode topic. And we're keen for your feedback as well. If you love this episode, let us know. We've had quite a few lovely messages, so we'd be keen to hear what you guys are enjoying listening to.
Yep.
We'll see you next time at episode 10.